Hippocrates is father of medicine. But why do we call him by this name? Because he was the first person who tried to make a classification system for diagnosing the disease in medication. He tried also to give an explanation, and he tried to explain the disease which were undefined in that time, such as hallucination, mania, or others. Hippocrates also gave a theory about hysteria. He said that hysteria reason is because the worm is get dry and it's get wandering in the body. And one of his mistake was that he was thinking that this hysteria just is happening in women, which so many years this idea was following by others, practitioners in medicine. Hippocrates was telling that by watching and observing the symptoms of hysteria, we are able to understand that right now where is the worm in the body. And he was claiming that for solving and for healing this situation, the women should get pregnant, because he was thinking that if the worm get pregnant and works again, so dysfunction can goes in the same and healthy places. But although Hippocrates was although he had some mistakes, but he did some great works as well. Like he was the first person who claimed that for doing therapy for a patient, we should separate him from the family, and we can say that he was the first person in the world who created the admitting system. Another thing is that Hippocrates was believing that all the diseases are reason of unbalance of humors. He was believing that humors are controlling the balance and health in the body. He thought that there are 4 humors in the body, and if by environment such as changing the weather, or by physical problems such as fever, these 4 humors get changed or get out of the balance, then the disease starts. Another person who was so important as a physician was Galen. Galen also was one of the greatest ancient physician. He disagreed the word hysteria. I mean, he disagreed the reason of hysteria. And you know that hysteria, the reason that Hippocrates called this disease hysteria is because hysteria is a Greek word which means wandering worm. But Galen said that no, it's not right, because Galen knew the science of autopsy, and also he was familiar with anatomy. So because he opened the human body, he understood that no, worm cannot be wandering in the body. So he said that the reason of hysteria is lack of interest in sexual life in women. So he said that if the women they try to work on their sexual life, they can solve the hysteria. Although it was better than time of Hippocrates, but again, this wrong idea which hysteria can be just in women was continuing in that time also. After falling the empire of the Rome, the scientific view to medication and medicine process get fade away in Europe, and it was a chance for Eastern country to develop in medication. Although in Europe those scientific way and those scientific aspect was fade away, but it was continuing in the Eastern. The Hippocrates and Galen attitude were never forgotten in Eastern. As far as you know, Amin Sina wrote more than 450 books and articles, and which one of the most famous one is Tanım. And Amin Sina was adding so many theories to Hippocrates and Galen theories. Like he said that if the human brains get over hotter or over cold, or it's get hotter, colder, or drier or wetter than normal, then the disease can be happier. So these slangs and these proverbs or these phrases that in all the languages are available, like that person is hot, the other is cold, all of them comes from Abu al-Sina way of thinking. Also, Abu al-Sina was the first person who said that psychological problem can affect physical problem. And he was the first person who said psychological issues can create physical disease as well. Another thing that Abu al-Sina did was that he did a great study on effect of music on psychological and physical health. He claimed that music has a great effect on human health, and he was using music therapy in so many cases.